Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is my little place on the internet called Threads of Time, where I talk about all of my creative projects and yeah, just have fun. My name is Zephania, which is where you can pretty much find me everywhere on the internet, such as Instagram. Having a unique name has its benefits and its disadvantages. But yeah, I have not podcasted for a little while. I think it's been over a month now. I did actually make a video, but when I watched it back, I felt like you could tell I wasn't really in the mood to be talking about any of my knitting projects or anything. I will insert a little clip from it just because I have a finished object, but I don't have it here with me. So I finally finished my partner's jumper, which is the Wale pullover by Annie Poldeska, I think it was, and I used the yarn called for in the pattern. I will add a picture and cut in my little spiel about it from my old video. I had a lot of fun with it and my partner really likes it. The only downside I have is I have like 5 balls of the yarn left over and I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I might end up might knit something for myself. I think there is enough in it DK weight wise for me to knit something. Or I might knit my partner a vest, or I might knit like a whole heap of house socks out of it, since it's a very warm yarn, and I could do some of the cool colourwork house slippers I've seen on Ravelry. I don't have anything in mind, but yeah, I have a fair bit of it, so I have a few things to think about when it comes to finishing off the yarn, because I don't like having things in my stash that I don't know what to do with. So everything in there has some kind of plan in my brain for it. Oh yeah, another reason why I always feel like not wanting to do these podcasts is I never know what to wear because I'm just sitting at home. And then, yeah, so I decided to wear one of my robes. So I have a few, this is a new one, I bought it not that long ago. I have a few like vintage negligee pajama situations, and I was watching Christine McConnell and I noticed that in a lot of her live streams, because I'm a Patreon of hers, she always wears such nice pajamas, more like vintage houseware. So yeah, I thought maybe I could do that and then I won't feel so, I guess, silly being all dressed up at home. But yeah, I'll stand up so you can see. It's quilted, it's really warm. But yeah, anyway, enough about that. We're here for the knitting, not for the clothing. I'll start with a new cast on. I'll have to add a picture because you really can't tell what it is just by me holding up the yarn. Yeah, so it's a 40s design that has chevron stripes like this. It's from a Sun Glow pattern. And yeah, so we went into lockdown and I was feeling a bit bummed about it. So I cast on a new project. And this is really interestingly constructed. So I'll try and, so you can see this is the armhole, and then down here is the bottom, and you start off at this end and you kind of knit this way. So it's like a diagonal knit. It's really interesting. You like, basically you cast on 3 stitches and you go all the way along until you get to this part. And then, so this is one back piece, and then here's the other back piece. They're a bit curled up because I haven't blocked them. So these get sewn together and it creates the diagonal stripe. And then once you've sewn the 2 pieces together, you pick up stitches at the bottom, I think, and you do the waistband or the ribbing. And then I'm not sure how the sleeves are done, but I think it's in a similar manner because it has a chevron here, I think. You'll see in the picture. But yeah, I mean, these panels like only took me like a day to knit. So I've got 1, 2, and then I have the first front panel on, and I think I've cast off this armhole, and yeah. For this one, I really found the hang on, I'll just check what it's called. Knit Companion. Really helpful because it has a highlight strip, and for this particular pattern, like every line is a different instruction, but there are some bits that repeat, so you might be on like row 98 and it will say repeat from row 45 to 56 times or something like that. So I found it really handy with the counter and the highlight a bit to move that around and just keep track that way. The one thing I don't like is that I think the app is better on like iPads and Apple products, because there are a few videos about this app, because there's a free version and a paid for version, which definitely not sponsored. There's only 14 of us here. Yeah, so I think on an Android it's not as good, and I have a Note 10 Plus, I think, and I just find that I can't use all the features that are shown in the videos or that people, when they do promote, to talk about. And I tried downloading it on my very old Samsung tablet, but they didn't have a version for, I think my tablet's too old. So yeah, but yeah, if you do have, it is handy just to keep track simply like that, just moving the highlighter thing. So even if you just had the free version, I think it would be really good for people who don't like to print out patterns. So yeah, I think the other app I guess I've used is like just Adobe's Write on PDF, which is kind of a thing that you can get with the Note 10 Plus because it has the pen, and just doing the traditional marking, counting, and just starring where you are in pattern. But yeah, I'm excited to get this done because it's cold still here, but it is coming into spring, so having like a short sleeve jumper would be nice. I'm hoping to finish my 40s skirt around the same time. So I've been knitting on this a bit. Hang on. Make sure I'm not dropping any stitches. So yeah, this is how much I've done of this. So far, I have had a few thoughts. So I'm using the Bendigo Woolen Mills 3-ply, which I think their suggested gauge was like 30 inches. And I think for this pattern, it was more of a 4-ply gauge, 8 stitches per inch, I think. They never do the 4 inches or 10 centimeters, always like 7 or 8, but I think it's creating a really nice lightweight fabric, which I think would be good for mid-seasons. So not too warm in the spring, not too, yeah, keep you warm enough in the autumn with some tights. But I think it's a little bit thin for it to be like a proper winter skirt. Winter, my Australian's coming out, winter. But yeah, I really like it. I like the 3-ply. I think I might try so this is the classic 3-ply. I think I might try the classic 5-ply. And the thing that I like about these yarns, I don't know if this one is, but the classic is a crepe ply. So it's not that it's rough. I mean, it is rougher than the luxury, which is what I'm knitting the 40s top out of. But I think for dresses especially, the 5-ply, I might get the gauge more easily because I'm knitting this on like 2.75. 3 mils. So I think the 5-ply, which is a 26.5 per 10 centimeters recommendation on 3.75s, I think it was. I think it bit that, oh, talking too fast. I think that the 5-ply, I might get a 4-ply gauge easier with the thicker fabric because it'll be denser. But anyway, experimenting, because the Bendigo Woolen Mills yarn is kind of like Australia's good, cheap budget yarn. It's very well priced. Like these are 200 gram balls and I believe they're about 14, 15-ish dollars Australian. So yeah, I mean, for a little 40s jumper, basically I only really need like 1.5 of these. I forget what the yardage is, but they're 200 grams. So usually for most 40s tops you need about 200 to 300 grams, depending on like the length of the sleeves and the size and everything. But yeah, I do have some of the 5-ply in my stash, so I might gauge swatch for that. So many black things. I must have been in a gothic mood. So this is the number 7 sweater by My Favorite Things. It's got that puppy sleeve. And I'm almost done. So hopefully in the next episode I'll have finished this and I'll be able to wear it for a couple of months before it starts getting too warm for a mohair. But yeah, I just have to decrease. I'm not quite there yet, a few more rounds. And then also I need to pick these stitches back up and cast it off. I left them live because I wanted to try it on, for one, and two, I find that once you've knit the sleeves, sometimes it can like shrink up the sweater, especially with any designs that have negative ease. So I tend to, if I'm going to knit the body and then the sleeves, I tend to leave the body live until I've finished the sleeves, just to make sure that I'm happy with how it's turning out. So yeah, that's a tip, I guess. I also sometimes, like, it's not a problem with this one because the fabric is so lightweight, but when I've knit more heavyweight items, I tend to, if it's top down, once I've split for the sleeves and I've knit a couple of inches, I'll knit the sleeves, because I find as you're knitting the sleeves, and it gets all twisted up and you have all this body, it gets all like very heavy and annoying. So I always like to try and knit the sleeves first in the round sweater, especially top down. But I've only done a couple, so maybe other people out there don't think it's a wise decision. I don't know. Camera's flashing at me, but I'm like, why? Oh, I think it's just getting low battery. And another project I've been working on and off is Josh's other jumper. So this is the front, I believe. I've already done the back. It's over here. Can't remember. I think I was getting pretty close to, no, there's a couple more. I haven't worked on it in a couple of weeks, I think. I'll work on one project for a week and then I might put it away and I'll work on a new project for a week. And I just kind of skip back and forth. I think it just helps with like thinking, like I don't have to switch patterns in my brain basically. But yeah, I'm hoping to, I should say, this is the, I'm such a mess. Maybe I should start this again. This is the Marash sweater by Storey. And it's knit in, hang on, let me get the ball pen. It's knit in Jamieson's double knitting rather than the cold fall yarn, which was Rowan felted tweed. This instead. So yeah. Again, I will put pictures and say the names and link everything down below, because I'm terrible, it seems, at letting you know what I'm even knitting. And yeah, that's all I have really active. I still have my mum's cotton cardigan that I spoke about like way back in episode 1. It hasn't moved since then. I don't know if it's because I do like the pattern. It's a lace pattern, but I just don't want to knit it. I don't know. So our unfortunate 5th lockdown, we're in the 6th lockdown now, I think. Oh, I can't even remember too many. Happened just before the Sheep and Wool Festival, which is kind of like our biggest yarn and wool and sheep festival in Australia. So unfortunately we didn't get to go, even though it was like the day before. I had to cancel it the day before, which I felt super bad for all of the Australian suppliers. And I do try and, whilst I do like a lot of European and American yarns, I do try and buy from Australian suppliers, Australian yarn brands or Australian farms. So I got some skeins from Tandy, which I have knit with before. It is such a lovely wool. So this one, I got 3 of each of the colours. So this one I've actually knit a sweater in before, which is getting a little bit small for me. And there are a few, like I only bought 2 skeins of it when I knit that one, and it was only just enough. I had the tiniest little leftover scrap, so this time I bought 3, and I think I might knit a vintage jumper out of it. So the one I've knit previously was the Beauty School sweater by Poison Girls, but I think this time I might knit a different sweater I've also knit before, which is this 40s sweater. If you search on Etsy like Bo's 1940s knitting pattern, you'll probably find it, but I'll add a picture. So might do that with this one. And then I got, this one is their China Blue colour in 4-ply, and then they released a whole selection of new colours, and I got the Hedgeberry, a lovely red, and this one they use, they don't use a pure white wool, so the red is kind of, it's really lovely. I like it a lot, and I think this darker kind of red suits me a lot. A flashing battery. And then I got the Old Rose colourway, and yeah, this one is on a white base, so it's not got that kind of like depth to it, but it's a really pretty pink colour, which I actually, after I bought it, realised it was the kind of, it's pretty much the same as the last rosy colour I showed you guys when I went to the Coburg Yarn Festival. They're very close. This one is less tonal than the other one, but yeah, I was thinking with the red I might do the forest, oh, not fluff, the Forest Berry cardigan by Fable Knitwear. The only problem I have with that cardigan is I don't like the raglan, so I think there are a few people who have modified it to be a set-in sleeve, which I think I might also do. But yeah, I think this in that pattern with some of her nice Fable knitwear buttons, exciting stuff. And then this one I'm not too sure. I think it will come down to what I decide with the other colours. So I'm going to have three jumpers in very similar colours, but that's okay. Don't have to use it straight away. Yeah, I think I keep looking at myself here instead of the lens. I'm such a terrible YouTuber. Podcast I stumbled across that I've really been enjoying is Magda Knits. I will pop links down below in the little box that I always leave so my face doesn't get covered. And she was talking about wanting to knit a dress, and I definitely encourage anyone who hasn't knitted something large like that to definitely look into it, because they're just so comfy, knitted dresses. And yeah, I am already thinking about what dress project I want to start next. There's this particular, I guess, mid-40s design that I've seen a few actual originals from the era. It has, it's probably on this side in the picture, like a intarsia rose going across, and it has a all-in-one sleeve which means I wouldn't have to knit a sleeve, which is tempting. And then there's this one that I've seen. I actually found a copy of the original pattern, but it has like a crisscross kind of cable design at the waist. It's long sleeve. And then I really want to knit like a classic Vogue knitting like 50s dress. I'll pop a picture. If anyone who's into vintage patterns would know what the Vogue knitting like 50s kind of look like. Yeah, so I just want to knit every kind of dress I can possibly get. But yeah, they do take a while, and if you're not into vintage patterns like I am, I definitely, sorry, I got fluff in my nose. I definitely look into, if you're just looking for modern dress patterns, finding at least a DK weight, because it would probably knit up a lot faster than a 4-ply, which a lot of the 30s and 40s patterns are knit with. Sometimes a sport weight. There are a few in the 50s that are knit with a double knitting, which I think if I'm going to do a 50s design, I might do in double knitting. Yeah, the reason why, partly I like to knit dresses, is because the originals of the 30s, 40s, 50s are very expensive and somewhat rare. So I'm sure, as most knitters know, moths are a problem when you're working with a natural fibre. So a lot of them have been nibbled at, or, you know, like things just get destroyed with time. And yeah, it's also part of the reason why I've considered getting a knitting machine, because it would probably make my life so much easier. But I do actually just like the process of knitting. I like keeping my hands busy, so yeah. I thought maybe when I have a few more subscribers, there's not many of us here, that I might run a knitting cowl for a dress. And obviously I wouldn't require it to be a vintage pattern, but yeah, like, okay, I'm back. I just did this, but I didn't have my mic on. But as I was saying, I'm thinking of doing a knitting cowl for a dress, because I think a lot of people would be encouraged to tackle a project that large. What did I say in the last bit? But yeah, so yeah, if you're interested in that kind of cowl, I'd probably run it on Instagram, not on Ravelry, just Ravelry, just because I don't have a podcast group, and I don't really use Ravelry that often. And I know that there are some people who have issues with the new site, so like I don't see the point. The only thing I use Ravelry for anyway is to purchase patterns. And yeah, that's it. That's all I use it for. I don't do projects on there or anything like that. So, but yeah, if you're interested about a cowl, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. And if you've gotten this far, I'd love it if you could subscribe. And yeah, and if you have any questions about anything I mentioned today, it should all be down in the description box But if it's not there, just leave me a comment and I will let you know if I can answer the question. And yeah, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and all that YouTube jazz that one must say to beat the algorithm, which is, I think, harder for Australians, but that's a different story. But yeah, thanks for watching and I will see you next time. Bye.